This episode is brought to you by our patron supporters. Today's patron of the day is Ellie. Patrons get the show always ad-free and access...
Always ad-free.
and access to the extended episode with bonus content. Jeez Louise. If you don't want to miss all that, go to patreon.com/calltheline. That's patreon.com/calltheline.
I insisted we make Ellie today the patron of the day, as I will be critically responding to a comment. And so I felt, as a gesture of goodwill and faith first, I would do that. But yeah, welcome to, we've got actually other controversies to talk about in today's episode, because last episode apparently was a little too spicy. And so we'll be right there with that. We're going to be calling out Alyssa first. Here we go.
Me? Ugh.
Welcome, everybody, to The Line Has a Podcast. It is August 15th, 2025, and I'm Jimmy Snow.
I'm Alyssa Lube, and I'm going to take my Princess Diaries sunglasses off now.
And this Saturday, the very first ever LineCon online live will be happening, and you don't want to miss it. To do that, you want to go to patreon.com/calltheline and make sure that you are signed up at either the 15th. We're basically using Patreon as our ticketing system. We're doing a mini-con, like little online thing. 3 lectures, one by Owen Morgan, Dr. Aaron Adair, and Matt Dillahunty on Christianity and Hitler's Germany. What has physics done for you lately? And understanding logical fallacies, followed by an hour-long Q&A with all 3 individuals. That is happening this Saturday at 3 p.m. Central Time. So you don't want to miss it, because it's going to be the good stuff as we try to expand our patron support to be able to fund all of these other new things we have going on. I don't remember if this happened in the bonus show or if it was during the main show, but you offered a hot take last show, and it's causing a little controversy. And yes. I'd like to say that I am fully on board canceling you for your take. Do you want to remind people what your take was?
Yeah, and I will stand by this.
Mm-hmm.
Peanut butter, not that good.
Okay, I want to just start by apologizing myself. I didn't stand up for peanut butter well enough last week. Now, listen, if you are a peanut allergy, we get it. Kindly exit the conversation. Yeah. This conversation is not for you. But everybody else whose taste buds work and they don't die when they eat one, peanut butter is clearly one of the greatest things humans ever came up with. And as I said that, I realized in other circumstances, I might have tried to make a joke that this makes you racist, since, peanut butter was invented by Frederick Douglass, and it was an early contribution of...
Was it? Wow.
Early Black culture in America, when Black people finally started getting credit for the things they created, because in the past, They didn't get credit for it. Macaroni and cheese, for example, the way we have it in America, is often credited to Thomas Jefferson, despite the fact that it was his slave chef that actually invented it. So.
Macaroni and cheese, I think, is one of the best foods ever created. Mm-hmm. That I will stand by.
Sure, that one's good.
Doesn't hit the way that I feel like everyone. Good. I don't know. It's like,
do you like a peanut butter cookie?
I do like peanut butter cookies.
You can't have that without peanut butter.
I know. It's not that I don't like it. I just think, like I said, it is the avocado of the sweet world.
No,
we just don't
Almond Joys
need it. But they don't put Almond Joys in everything.
No, well, we don't put avocado on everything.
Well, I feel like we do. Maybe a little less
Toast
now.
And
but
salads.
There was a period of time where every fucking sandwich, every wrap, every bowl, every salad, they all had fucking avocado. It's fine, it's good, but I don't need it all the time.
I don't know. I was never into avocado, and I had no problem avoiding it. It was very easy. It wasn't the default on most things for me.
I feel like it always comes as like on or with things, and I'm like, I just don't understand what this is. Peanut butter feels like it's added to a lot of desserts that just don't need
You
it.
like a Reese's cup?
They're okay.
Ugh.
I have to really be in the mood for them.
Do you know, I prefer like a chocolate shop that makes their own kind, like Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory has their peanut butter buckets, and it's like a big, and they kind of do a confectioner's peanut butter where they kind of make it more of like it's a little fluffier peanut butter on the inside. It doesn't have, anyway, I quite like that. Sorry, everybody. We're not always going to get everything right here, you know? We make mistakes. We're human. To err is human, and we err. And boy, big ol' error on Alyssa's part. Now let's go with the criticism of me taken from an actual Patreon. And I'm trying to be usually the way I can just respond flat out. People can take as very aggressive, despite the fact that I usually am just trying to speak like very boldly, but factually. So I'm going to try and tamp that down to make sure Ellie understands I'm not mad. But your comment is whack.
I don't think it. Well, let me really read it because I feel like I
Well, and I'll explain why it's because I have problems with a couple of different parts of it, but also it's mainly the way it begins. Now, actually, it's the very first sentence. Fine, you're setting it up. It was hard to listen to Jimmy talk about his perception of the potential of AI within behavioral and mental health. That's fine. And then now explaining it, making an unfounded claim of this resource as a good thing is dangerous. That sentence is a fallacious sentence. You're presuming it's unfounded. You are, and because you're not offering, like, I believe it is unfounded, and asking to find out whether it's unfounded, you're doing something called poisoning the well. So now it's sort of like the rest of the comment that follows is as though we've all agreed that it's an unfounded claim. And so whether it's unfounded or not and I also feel like I probably presented enough in there about my history with discussing these models with mental health professionals and the good they can do. But then there's another part of this that it also gets wrong that I feel like we addressed a little bit. So I'm just gonna readdress. But it isn't unfounded. Besides discussing these models with mental health officials, one of the things that I have done since leaving school many years ago is I hold subscriptions to multiple journals that are both medical journals, or you could call them psychology journals, in the cases of some. And they're talking about it a lot. And I will tell you that the mental health world is actually quite excited for the potential, and they are doing tests. For example, BMC Psychology did an article not too long ago. I say that, but time has become meaningless, so it could have been 2024. But I want to say it wasn't that long ago. And they were working with an AI chatbot, and they were talking about how it was targeted specifically. I want to say, I think it was a chatbot for women with anxiety disorders. And they found a significant reduction in anxiety and better outcomes. However, they also found that those outcomes weren't overall better than getting actual, like, regular in-person therapy, which is fine. And so the question isn't, does that mean that then ChatGPT is excessively good at it? Well, one of the things that's notable about ChatGPT is ChatGPT, when it knows it's in one of those therapy discussions, is that it will say, hey, I can help you learn some exercises. I can do these things, but understand my limitations. I certainly can't diagnose you. I can create screening questions, but you should talk to a professional about it. I can even help you form up something to present. If you have a difficulty articulating, I can help you create that kind of thing. But every time you talk to it about, like, hey, I'm dealing with this thing, DBT, I've had here, can you give me a DBT exercise? I've had the experience many times. And as a supplementary resource, it's definitely great. Now, on top of being supplementary, make it unfounded. Okay. Unless there are strong indications that AI is safe, efficacious, and truly private, platforming non-licensed and unprofessional resources like AI will lead to harmful consequences. That's true. Platforming non-licensed and unprofessional resources with AI will lead to harmful consequences. That's true. But does that mean it's wrong? For example, platforming black market resources for trans people to get care. Platforming black market resources for people with certain medical conditions to get care, or abortion resources, or with the things that are happening with tariffs, some of my medications may go up a lot because a lot of them are made in India. And so if there's a black market alternative, platforming that, yes, you are now adding a new level, a new place where harm could come in. But we still do platform those things because the amount of good they do otherwise outweighs that. People still having black market access to certain things that they need is still more of a positive than a negative. And so we talked about this on the episode when we talked about the self-driving. People will pay attention. Well, if the self-driving car can still kill you, should we put the self-driving car? Or should we only do it when it is, we'll use these same words, safe and efficacious? No, we should do it as so long as it is safer than not having that alternative, especially by a significant amount. And so I don't see how one could confidently argue otherwise. That's how. Please consider clarifying your intentions around this topic. That being said, I hope everyone can receive adequate and appropriate therapy. And that's the sentence where it's like, I don't know if it's just, the hard part is you never know if a person who's responding to these kinds of things actually has an issue with your thing, or right now, there are people who just universally across the board, AI is bad. It's bad. Yeah. Don't use it. No one should use it. You don't know which person you're talking to. So I won't say that is what Ellie is doing here. But I know that some people who would have made these same points would be that. And right. So I can't help but wonder if that's the case. Is this just an AI bad scenario? But it may not be. But the phrase, that being said, I hope everyone can receive adequate and appropriate therapy. Great that you hope that. They're not getting it. They can't. And this was kind of the broader point that we made there, is I even brought up the statistics of how many people are not getting therapy. Chatbots and even ChatGPT are well trained on these things. You can manipulate them, though, because they are LLMs. They do actually, for specifically that stuff, have some safeguards built in. Again, you need to go to a therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist for this kind of thing. Here is the information I can give you, and I can help you through a panic attack, and I can help you do whatever. I have one that just quizzes me on math stuff. I'm like, hey, I'm having a panic attack, and if I'm in that space, it just starts asking me math questions, and I just start paying it.
God, that would give me a panic attack.
Right. But for me, it works. It realigns my focus to the math stuff, and it makes the panic attacks end sooner. So that's the point. The whole point is that we identified the number of people actually with access to therapy is very low. What's funny, too, is if you actually compare, and this is stuff that's also been observed in journals, the number of people in therapy that are amongst, so say it's 10% of people in therapy in the last year, how much of that 10% of Americans is a part of the top 10% of people who most need therapy? The overlap, as far as a Venn diagram, it's not even close to a perfect circle. It's a little tiny margin in the middle. It's less than half. And so the whole point being that this is better. First of all, there's a shortage of therapists in America. Second of all, most people don't get to receive adequate and appropriate therapy. And so in a situation where it is stigmatized to go to therapy for men, but men desperately need therapy, having a place that starts that also, again, encourages you to go to therapy and may be able to help break that down, and something that may be able to, if there's sort of an understanding eventually that everybody's using these chatbots to some degree to do this, that may destigmatize the concept for greater people. Anyway, there are lots of scientific journals that you are welcome to go and check out. As I mentioned, BMC Psychology. There's also Frontiers in Psychology. I'm looking at some of my subs right now. Sage Journals, Behavioral Sciences, all of those have pretty frequently touched the AI chatbots, therapy supplementary materials, or as an origin material, a first stop. And it is interesting. It's always Ellie might be a psych professional. It's always non-psychology professionals, though. Every time I have the conversation and show it to a psychology professional, they might be a little bit apprehensive at first, and then I show them how. And a lot of them have, as far as practitioners go, I know some of them have included like, hey, by the way, if you can't get a hold of me and you just need an exercise, if you have ChatGPT, go ask it for one. It'll walk you through it or something. Yeah. They've added that kind of stuff to their repertoire as well. I was just going to say last.
Yeah, sorry.
And then one of the therapists I showed it to had a mild panic attack herself because she felt that this is the future of her job going away.
So I don't think that therapists' jobs are ever going to go away, but I think what's going to be tough is the therapy is really expensive. Even the copays, like if you have a $40, $60 copay every week, that's an additional expense that a lot of people in this country cannot afford. And that's if you're lucky enough to have insurance that at all, or insurance that covers therapy. So that's going to be hard to compete with. I think it's like, I said this in the last episode too. I just worry about when people use tools like that irresponsibly. And so what I would love to see is like what you described now, where that like a therapist says, hey, if I'm not around, use ChatGPT as a tool to do this, this, and this. Or like a
Which,
guide.
by the way, most therapists don't answer outside of, like,
Right.
I have a therapist I can text. Most people don't have
most
that.
don't. Or I would love for someone to create, someone who has looked into the way that people use ChatGPT for mental health purposes and also has a background on like providing psychological support, to write a guide on how to best utilize ChatGPT for this purpose.
Right.
And when you need to like step away from it and be like, maybe I need different kinds of support, or, you know, whatever it is. Even if ChatGPT like can sense that you're using them like for therapeutic reasons, if they also can get smarter about how they're responding, then that would be great. And have it be like, if someone is prompting you with these types of questions, you cannot, this is when like the learning model has to sort of like shift a little bit, because if they need different kinds of support, but that's what I feel like. It's sort of like the black market example feels actually like very aligned, because while I want people to get the services that they need, when you're doing something in like the black market, then you
which isn't, it technically isn't black market, but more of an extra, a non-licensed whatever thing. Right.
But then you also are taking on some personal risk in doing something a way that is sort of like back channel. And that's what ChatGPT feels like to me. It feels like you take on a percentage of risk because you know that you're not talking to a person who, like, human. I don't know. I just feel like human beings are nuanced, and it's helpful to have another human being to bounce off of. So like, I don't think that it's like overall people shouldn't use it. I just want there to be like resources or guardrails so that for the people who might use it irresponsibly or be putting themselves in like a dangerous place, there's some support to like.
And I get all of that. On my end, I'm sitting and going, I think that in the case of ChatGPT, or again, these like actual specifically made chatbots, I think we already have enough data to maybe not conclusively, but with highly suspect that it actually isn't worse than the human version we have right now. In other words, like right now, if you go to therapists in certain places, you might get recommended goop. You know what you really just need to do is, this Goop brand. Yeah. Or you might get recommended bullshit supplements, or you might get put on drugs because the person is just like, look, I just usually throw drugs at this thing. And what you didn't need was drugs. You needed DBT or CBT. Yeah. And because they are aware people use it, again, just go try. If you already know what the risks are, I assume it can't, like, for people who are like, no, I know go try it and find out how hard it is to trip up. And I wouldn't say it's terribly hard, but it's also not as hard as or it's easier than tripping up a therapist. Because whenever I hear people, like I say, when you sort of categorically, like, I'm worried about the people who will abuse it. Okay. But also there are lots of abusive therapists. And
totally.
It's almost like, I get it. We do need to have those resources. And it's funny because we also need the resources of like, by the way, here is the questions you should ask a therapist your first time. And by the way, here's the resource on firing a therapist if they don't work for you. Yeah. Here's the resource on like, reporting a therapist.
Even
if they're not
knowing
good.
That you can like leave it, like you don't have to worry about like offending. And even if you do, who cares? You are well within your right to leave a therapist if they don't work for you, or whatever it is.
I almost want to do it in real time. Just like, I'm just going to go, this probably has my history, but I'm just going to be like, I'm having a really hard time with anxiety right now. Can you help me? And I'll just read you its response. Because it's not going to go to Goop. It's not going to go to a religion, which I've had bullshit MLM stuff and religion thrown at me by bad therapists before. I've got you, Jimmy. Let's slow this down and work together one step at a time. We're going to focus on grounding, getting your mind out of the racing spiral and back into the present moment. Step 1, orient the room. Orient to the room. Look around and silently name 5 things you can see. Then name 4 things you can touch and actually reach out and touch them if you can. Next, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and I'm giving you the shorter versions because it's explaining each one, and 1 thing you can taste, the lingering taste in your mouth, take a sip of water, whatever. When you're ready, you can tell me if you want, and we'll go step by step. We'll keep things slow and steady. Literally if you just know a person who knows, like, it doesn't even have to be a full therapist, somebody who's been in therapy and you're like, I'm super anxious right now, this is the number 1 exercise they're going to give back to you. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, and this is what we're talking about. Or it's like, hey, I need to flesh something out. But of course, you can abuse it, which, by the way, is also what is true of therapy. And we know that people with narcissistic personality disorder, borderline disorder, and others that have these sort of narcissism as a symptom conditions go to therapy. And a lot of therapists worry that a high percentage of people with BPD and NPD, for example, may be untreatable because they go to therapy and they actually become better at manipulating people. They use therapy to learn therapy speak and the like, also stuff you can read about in journals. And this is why there are now a growing number of therapists. Borderline is the one that most recently this has become true of, who will not take on borderline patients. They will only refer them out to a specialist. Because it's basically the amount of qualifications you have to treat somebody with borderline is higher than just your standard therapist can handle. That is to say, not that there aren't people who have borderline who aren't eagerly actually wanting to get help, so who do engage honestly. But if you aren't well posed, you aren't well trained, you aren't well posed to be able to tell the difference. Anyway, that's a bit of an aside. And so this is where the psychology world is going. And I'm positive somebody with a comment will be like, well, I have borderline and that's totally wrong because this is this. And I'm like, all right, well, you go argue these with these peer reviewed journals and you let me know when you get them to issue their correction. Don't argue with me. I'm not the guy. Anyway, so Ellie, I have no problem with you or anything, but I thought that the comment was like, it also is right now showing it's like our highest comment on, not like engage with, it's just the top one that you see under the preview of the show. And I was like, I'm going to address it. I'm going to because I first of all, I think the word unfounded was poisoning the well. But then second of all, I think I even addressed some of these things in the last one. And it's like, I don't understand how you can defend it. And it's like, I did already, but I thought I'd make it more, I thought I'd specify better so that it is understood better, because perhaps it was a lack of.
The black market example is a really good one. That's exactly what it feels like to me. That makes a lot of sense.
Look, is the world better without it? No, definitely. But is there a chance? And I think there's even already examples of I don't think it was ChatGPT, but people who had like AI companions who convinced them to, end their life and shit.
Yeah,
so clearly it can be used for horrific evil.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But what is this trying to do? Oh, sorry. I'm getting distracted by things popping up on my screen. But anyway, that's the little bit on there. Well, why don't we take a break and come back? Do you have any bows you want to put on that?
No, I think that was the black market example feels like it rings the most true in all.
Yeah. As soon as we have actual, listen, we had this conversation with somebody the other day about the teen category in adult content and stuff, where it was like, hey, I think that it's bad. And this person was kind of conflicted and they were like, yeah, I get that. But also I know people whose lives would have been ruined if they hadn't had that avenue for income. And that it's actually like kind of what set them up to be able to have a financially stable future. Maybe it's like a person who at 18 doesn't have a good family life. And so they are so unstable. And I mentioned to this person, it's like, oh, I don't want you to think that my answer is just make it illegal and do nothing else. The answer is everyone should be secure whether they have a job or not. There has to be an entire socialist answer of everyone has healthcare, mental health care, access to all of this stuff. But there's, again, a shortage. The future of therapy, unfortunately, as we go to break here, unfortunately is robots, because there's too many people and not enough therapists. And that's just it's literally how it's going to be. But we will be right back.
This episode is brought to you by the amazing people on patreon.com/calltheline, where you can get the show ad-free and you get the extended episodes where we do bonus shows, which is most of the time. Head over to patreon.com/calltheline and sign up today.
Would you like to be one of the cool people who can prove
I feel like I might have ended the break there with something you might have wanted to respond to, even though I was like, when we come back, there'll be news. But if not, it's all good.
I mean,
yeah.
like there's a difference between like what I'm hearing and what I feel the feeling in my body, hearing like that people are going to be using robots for therapy. My instinct is like to not trust that, and my like stomach goes like, ugh. But I also am like and am open to that being like, it's just new, so I'm open to that.
I'll tell you all this.
Changing.
If it weren't for AI, everyone can see I am healthier now. I'm not healthy yet, but I'm healthier now. Everyone can tell I'm feeling better. I've also lost a lot of weight. I'm doing way more work. I think I've been on some kind of media every day this week or close to. I'm getting back to expanding the line. I have more energy. I've got a partner now. We're doing stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Wink, wink. And had I not had for a physical medical symptom, and sure, people can be like, yeah, but that's different, but it's still an unlicensed doctor, subbing for a doctor. I was going through years of them not figuring out answers. And I was able to I literally uploaded all of my medical results, all of my, and then started talking about here are different symptoms and stuff. And then things of like, by the way, I've noticed people talk about this and this subreddit and this subreddit related to it. This doesn't fit for this reason, this and that. And literally it was a chat bot that was like, look, with all of this in mind, these are consistent with these conditions. The first thing I would check for is this condition, which turned out to be bile acid malabsorption, and that you should talk to a doctor, and that the way they test for it in America is generally just to give you the medication cholestyramine. And if the cholestyramine works, which I'm just remembering I haven't taken yet, again, I keep having this, if it works, you're diagnosed with it. And literally it was life-changing. It was an overnight change in life. I'm building back. It takes also then losing weight to get more energy. It takes rebuilding a biome to feel healthier and stuff. But overnight, I went from what was basically my daily nightmare to it being kind of like, oh, this is much more normal. If anything, recovering now from some of the like 3 years of, oh, I feel like this and my body is shutting down. And so I'm having anxiety responses. Now my body still has anxiety responses to minor changes in I've got that hypersensitivity to everything. Anyway, it's literally like if you can use it responsibly, or if they are designed to be used responsibly. And I think it was ChatGPT I used. If they are designed to be used responsibly with the understanding of their limits, and that you at some point should engage a real person if you can, then but the if you can thing is huge. I have great insurance, right? I'm on a gold plan because it's like, why not be on when I know how much I'm going to use? It's like, yeah, it's an expensive plan, but it's still less overall for the year. I have excellent insurance. I have the resources to be able to go to the doctor. And I was going to the doctor. I was going to the emergency room way too often for stuff that they were like, yeah, sorry, we still didn't find it. Including one of the times where they were like, we think you just don't feel well. 3 days later, a urologist told me I had kidney stones. So like, they're not great at the ER at catching shit all the time.
Yeah.
And so going through all of that shit, that's me with great insurance, still needed to take it into my own hands. If you don't know, if you're not as, I don't want to say as smart as me, but as resourceful when it comes to your own medical, and most people aren't going to be, especially if it's newer to you and you haven't been living your life with chronic illness, with your medical shit, like what hope do you have? Especially in America, where so few people are either uninsured or underinsured.
Yeah.
Isn't it like 80% of Americans have reported that they haven't gotten a procedure, gone to the doctor that for something they needed to do, but they didn't because they were worried about the cost? So what does it matter if you have shitty insurance if you still can't go get a procedure you need?
Right.
Anyway, I'd love a MAGA now to say, we have the best healthcare in the world. That is so true if you are rich.
Oh, there was also Kevin said this to me, and I need to like look into it more, but there's and this is it is kind of news, but it's also like not really. There is a researcher in Mexico who developed a treatment for HPV that's like been a huge breakthrough. But it's crazy. So the claim is that a Mexican researcher eliminated HPV in hundreds of women using photodynamic therapy. And that's true, like she did. And this was in 2019. And we have heard nothing about it in the US. Like, I have heard nothing about it.
So in 2019 was when the trials were happening. 2023 is when the research was published. So I will say it's bad, but it's not as bad as it does take time for things to, and now you would need a broader study to happen because that one was under 1,000 people. I did hear about it. I'm going to open up some stuff and
there are so many things like the male birth control Atom, which is like a hydrogel that they put in the Vans deferens and it just like blocks the sperm, whatever. Do you know how many times that's been like released as being new? It's been in clinical trials for so long. Yeah. And I hear about it every year like it's something that we've discovered. And I'm like, this has been going on for like 4 or 5 years. I think this was the 4th year. So
right now they're still awaiting peer review, which unfortunately is a long process. And since HPV disproportionately affects women, like I'm not saying that is a good thing.
No, but it's going to take
forever.
But
be aware that adds a delay. 100%. People.
And also because this is something that's being done in Mexico, and the U.S. wants to believe that we are the best at healthcare. We are the best at everything, and nobody has better healthcare than us. I genuinely think that's strongly contributing to why we've heard nothing about this. Yeah. And it's
Can I bring up something totally unrelated that's bugging me and then come back to it?
Absolutely.
You look so much nicer than me today. What is this like? You look so like put together. That's like a nice shirt with the gold. You got the makeup done just right. And I look like fucking trash.
Okay, so I went to City Hall today.
Dressed for City Hall.
I'm dressed for City Hall, which when I got dressed today, what did Kevin said I looked like something. He said he looked like I was dressed like a human rights lawyer today. But so there was a rally.
I mean, human rights lawyers apparently be looking nice because you look good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
One of my friends from like high school is now a city council member and a district leader. And so district leader, that's not what I meant. I don't know. I can't remember her other title. Whatever. I'll find it later. So she introduced legislation to remove menstrual products in New York City that have harmful materials in them. Yeah. So today we went to City Hall to rally and like do that for like press reasons. And then I made some content with her. And we just like talked about like other ways that the like sexpert community and educator community can help share that she's passed this legislation and whatever. So anyways, that's why I look nice today, because I was at City Hall and it was beautiful. It was really nice. What a gorgeous building. It's like marble and just, it's beautiful.
Where in Texas, we're just all losing our House representatives right now.
Dude.
Because of the redistricting shit that they seem to just be like, we're just going to ignore the rules and try and kind of move forward on. You know what, though? This brings into interesting news. Have you been seeing Gavin Newsom trolling Donald Trump, doing the all caps tweets back at him, sounding exactly like him?
No.
Oh, they're amazing. Look, Gavin Newsom is a scummy Democrat governor who definitely this year was like, well, if it's going to get me in the White House, sure, I'll throw trans people under the bus. It's such a small percentage that who cares if I harm them? But I will say this tweet thing. I'm even in, I'm in a lot of like leftist subreddits, including Hassan's, and which I never watch Hassan, so it's the weirdest. It's a weird place to be. But anyway, somebody posted these in there, and someone was like, "Yeah, but this is blah, 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 and let's not pretend." Da, da, da. And I literally just wrote back like, "Okay, but it is funny though." And I'm pretty sure I ratioed that person because people are like,
Probably.
"Yeah, guy, it's just come on, chill out. It's funny." Oh, we're all also here celebrating the South Park shit, even though we know they're transphobes. We know they're quote unquote anti-woke. As we're sitting here being like, yeah, they're finally taking them down. Notice they're taking them down using their rule book,
Right.
not ours. Literally, they used the R slur and the F slur in the last episode.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? Maybe it's the first one. But anyway, here are some of the tweets of Gavin Newsom, all caps. Wow, tomorrow history will be made. Kara Lyon Levitt will have no answers for the supposed fake media about
Oh my God.
California's beautiful maps. People are saying they're the greatest maps ever created, even better than Christopher Columbus. Donald the failure Trump, be warned, tomorrow may be the worst day of your life, all because you missed the deadline. Liberation Day for America, GCN. And then there's one that's like, Donald Trump, the lowest polling president in recent history. This is your second to last warning. The next one is the last one. Stand down now or again, all caps. California will counter-strike legally to destroy your illegal crooked maps in red states. Press conference coming, hosted by America's favorite governor, Gavin Newsom. Final warning, next you won't like. Next you won't like it. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And then final warning, Donald Trump, maybe the most important warning in history. Stop cheating or California will redraw the maps. And guess who will announce it this week? Gavin Newsom, many say the most loved and handsome governor, and a very powerful team. Don't make us do it. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I don't know if this one was before or after, but Donald Taco Trump, as many call him, missed the deadline. California will now draw new, more beautiful maps. They will be historic, as they will end the Trump presidency. Dems take back the House. Big press conference this week with powerful Dems and Gavin Newsom, your favorite governor. That will be devastating for MAGA. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Love it.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it. I'm here for a troll.
And I'm also here for Chris Cuomo being a fucking idiot. Because, of course, Andrew Cuomo and Chris Cuomo, they're just in it together. They're like, let's destroy every bit of legacy we had. Chris Cuomo retweeted it with all caps, does not make a post more impressive. Being willing to defend what you put out on this dumpster fire site does.
Wow.
I'm just sitting here being like, can you see how far the joke flew over your head, or is it too like off in the distance? I
think these are men who are too crusty dusty. They need glasses. They can't see it.
You've been seeing Andrew freshly going after Mom Donnie again?
No. Can he mind his fucking business? Relax.
Well, he thinks it is his because after losing the primary fair and square, he's running as a third party.
He's such a loser.
You're a fucking loser.
Like you,
piece of shit.
Again, and we've said this before, so this is redundant, but it's insane that he was like, he deserved it. Good job. You know, hats off. He worked really hard. You beat me. And then he's going to be like, just kidding. I'm running third party. Like, okay.
Oh, man. And some people who, again, while not leftist, bought some leftist goodwill here and there, like Cory Booker refusing to endorse him. Mm-hmm. And like, oh, well, you know, I'm going to focus on New Jersey, I think. And you're literally sitting there like, dude, you talk about everything you can. You're clearly... I guess y'all are just like, at this point with Trump not being in the next election, presumably, I don't know how to make the case. I know that obviously I'm going to end up voting whoever's not MAGA, right? It's going to be what ends up happening because practically it's what you have to do. But it's getting a lot fucking harder to make that argument to other people, especially when they are very blatantly going, we don't want leftist support. Yeah. Because if you fucking continue to sabotage Mom Donnie, could some of these fucking assholes just like you're already got old. Leave this world, Chuck Schumer. Fucking Christ, you guys are assholes.
Leave this world.
Get out of here. Go to Mars is what I mean. Elon's got a rocket for you. The term limits thing has to happen, and you guys are putting on your glasses with your chains. Hang on. They fell extra low today. Let me just put these bad boys on. Now, here's how we, the Democrats, are going to do everything that makes us still sound like Republicans. Healthcare? Just kidding. We're going to be talking about the meaningless things we did this week. Oh, we sat on a memorial bench, but it was Reagan's memorial bench. Did you see that op-ed? No, you can't have healthcare. Stop bringing it up.
That was great. I enjoyed that.
I don't know if you saw the John Oliver episode this week on Chuck Schumer, but it's pretty good.
I did not.
I hate him. I always did. And sometimes John will put into words the reasons why I hate things better than I can sometimes, which I recognize as ironic because people watch me debate for that reason. Like,
yeah,
I like people who like me or any debater, like I like listening to them because they're better at articulating my feelings. I know this is how I feel, but I can't put it into words as well.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people watch us. And so just know that's why I watch certain people too. But you know what I don't watch?
What?
Any atheist content.
Really?
I really don't.
I mean, I guess you're so inundated with it.
Yeah.
As it is. Like, I don't
also,
know.
I pretty much employ everybody who's good or will in the future. Like at a certain point, if somebody's gotten to a certain size and they still haven't ended up on the line, it's probably a commentary from us. Just saying. Obviously, there's some people who are too big. Can't think of who they are because like Ricky Gervais, I would have had once upon a time, but not since he turned transphobic. Who would be the biggest person we would get that we would want to have? I don't know. I'd have to think about that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Somebody would have a problem, whatever the answer is, but it's not, Sam Harris, I feel like has potential to work his way back to sanity. But he's not on that list right now.
Really? What did he do?
Sam Harris has definitely gone down a lot of the anti-woke stuff and entertaining a little too. But right now, his Zionism, I would say, is the worst. He's pretty. He's Zionist? Not very vocal. Not like, oh, if you ask me, Israel has a right to defend itself. Yeah. He definitely has a bigger bridge to burn with Islam in general. And in fairness, so do I. But I wouldn't do it it seems to have reduced his sympathies for people who do deserve the sympathy. So where he attaches the way people do radicalize in Gaza to, if they do join Hamas, to just sort of, that's just Islam, it seems like, is his feeling, that Islam is doing it. The apartheid, the open air prison, the forced poverty doesn't seem to be as big of a factor to him as the Islam part is. And so, yeah, he's gotten pretty shamelessly, very vocally Zionist in that whole world. And it's sad to see, but that also the world, just the whole, I'm glad that they broke up, but I still I still need to hear more directly that he knows some of the ways he was behaving as Jordan Peterson's best buddy a couple years ago, that's maybe over. And not just because Jordan got crazier, but recognize that some of the places you were before Jordan went full on. That dude has gone nuts. Jordan Peterson is like, look, Jordan Peterson always sucked, right? And his little like self-righteous, you're not going to force a pronoun law on me. Yeah. That always sucked. The man is, funnily enough, loves to call other people narcissists on Twitter. And yet I would put money that man, if we have a day where we can scan brains and say it like definitively, that man's going to break the machine.
Yeah, 100%. I think one of my favorite things that Jordan Peterson does is like actually get caught up in, and it's like such a meme now, but get caught up in the definitions of every fucking thing. Right. Like, it's like, well, what do you mean?
What do you mean by believe?
What do you mean by believe? What do you mean by God? What do you mean by
faith? And then
faith?
he doesn't lie. He'll be like, if the person will be like, that you accept it as true. That's circular reasoning.
Yeah, what the
That's a circular definition because you haven't added anything new, which means that you asked for you asked what one word meant. I gave you the definition. And by saying that I haven't added anything new, that means that you already knew that was the definition and you thought that was implied. That's the best faith version. But actually I did add anything new, especially since then his thing was, you believe something if you would stake your life on it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is not true.
It's just not true.
Belief is a humongous category. right?
Yeah.
It's like so fucking huge. And I'm just like, you're what really stupid people think a genius is like.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of really stupid people
That
that
people like
other
are
people
impressed.
think are geniuses.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say the name because they stalk the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But I probably shouldn't even talk about this, but now I started the sentence, so I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
I will never in a million years go on a fucking red pill ass
Yeah.
platform. It's not gonna happen.
I would, but not when it's so clearly like
here's the thing.
On our platform, we clearly set out what the rules are. And if you actually follow them and you don't try to redirect the show, you don't try to interrupt, you don't try to obfuscate, if you just stay on topic, you will get to make your points. And many people have proven that. It's the people who get trolly that they don't get to. It's the people who try to be emotional, try to whataboutism, try to engage fallacies. And those things get put us to a stop. So our platform, regardless of how people feel like it looks, the worst thing about it is that it's 2 versus 1. And that's why we have tried to sort of go like, okay, let's let the person who's more qualified here take this call so that we can have a bigger variety of calls. And we try not to actually do the 2-on-1, one at a time, 1-on-1. You'd say that's the least unfair. But if you're sitting there with producers in your ears, you've got everybody there with a laptop that people can be sending you from your thing. But also, like, I still am obsessed with this person who's stalking you the way they keep saying we don't go on.
I know.
We only debate in person. Like, that's the law. Like, right. You just said that you really want to have a conversation to correct, these lies that I would say, or not me, you, but these lies, you really want to do that, blah, blah, blah. But you can't do it you can't call us to do it because you only debate in person. That's not the fucking law.
That's not the law.
And so what actually has happened is this person is saying we. They're not part of the we.
Yeah.
They're not a person that they actually, nobody at this unnamed podcast, nobody at this podcast actually respects that person. They're literally like, your job is to go find people and be shitty to them. And it's not, look, I'm not saying that the people there are respectable, but this person is lower than them.
Certainly not.
And loves using that word we to imply that there's something about that whole dynasty they have over there. That whole regime, I prefer that word actually, that their regime is just some amazing, and it's like, you are nobody to them, and they will replace you one day if you so much as like flirt with their girlfriend.
I said that I did not want to be a part of their, I didn't want to contribute to them having a platform at all. And they were like, we don't need your platform. You barely get any views, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't think you understand what I'm saying. I don't want to even give you the opportunity for a content idea. I don't want to be on that fuck ass show. Even the titles of their shows are disgusting.
The show's redacted as all hell.
It's literally, I said this to them, scum of the earth material.
Yeah.
Why would I was at City fucking Hall today. Why would I ever go onto your bitch ass, incel ass, red pill ass show? Yeah. Why would I do that? Also,
I'll do it, but not in person. I'll go on. Bring me on, guys.
Right.
Why don't you ever ask boys like me?
Right. Mind you, they film in fucking Anaheim. So you want me to, I'm in New York, by the way. You want me, when I have my precious time in Los Angeles, to drive to Anaheim, and sometimes their streams are like 8 hours. I would literally...
But the offers have never been anything like worthwhile either. It's just like, we want you so we can put you down and tell you you're a liar and shit on you for your misandry. And it's literally like, bro, you're asking for my time, which is valuable. When's the offer that I would be interested in coming?
They said that they'll pay me, which I'm like,
but it's $500.
Don't want your fucking money.
Based on at least other people who went on, it's $500. Yeah. I'm like, no. If you want to arrange a profit share where I get to see the report of the thing, I'll take 25%.
Right. Yeah, there's no fucking way. Why would I ever do that? And also, if you so badly want to have, this is how I know that your conversation is you want to have it in bad faith, because the only way that you will have it is if I physically go to your location and commit hours of my day, and then you get to use my likeness, my name, all of my shit on your platform so that you can make a title that's like, alleged sex expert says whatever, says that being a slut is okay, which also it is. I could give a fuck. But when I say you just call the show, you can even call anonymously. I don't care. Call the show. And they're like, we only do debates in person.
Only in person.
Right. Because it's not about us trying to get to a point of like understanding or honestly having like a spirited debate and just seeing what happens. It's about you attempting to embarrass me and then making tons of money off of it. Why the fuck would I do that? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Again, I was at City Hall today. I'm not going to goddamn Anaheim to their crusty asses.
I wonder if they just use Discord. Like, where's the, we gotta be like, all right, guys, we're coming, but I have 15, you have to let me have a laptop so I can also have my 15 people trying to find the rebuttal to every word you say so I can quick spam it. Right. I love that clip with, her name's Kai, where he's like, do you believe you'll be, well, it's something like, do you believe you'll be more beautiful at 30 than you are now? And she's like, well, the standard of beauty to society relates to youthfulness. So that would be weird to assume that. And they were like, that's not what it is. That's not what it is. That's not what the standard is. No, the standard's not that. And he's like, you think that's the standard? And then he goes and the dude who, I'm just going to call him Alvin because his cheeks have been chipmunking. I don't know if anybody else I don't know his name, but his cheeks, I see clips over the years and we've been having reverse experiences. My chipmunkness is reduced. His has been, that's where I put it. All the weight I've lost has been going on his cheeks. Anyway, Chipmunk, Alvin the Chipmunk, he's like melting down about it. And then he's like, pulling up a definition. He starts to read the definition and it literally says the same thing. It like mentions youth. And as soon as it says the word youth or some word that is the same as youth, he acts like he's like, oh, I'm so frustrated. I lost my train of thought. It's like so fucking transparent that he lost to this like 20-year-old. I don't know much about her. Otherwise, I just know her name is Kai and I saw that clip. It was like you told her probably to like come, oh, by the way, definitely dress with cleavage or whatever. Cause I feel like they do tell the people like dress as an OnlyFans worker or
for sure.
Dress as they want, because they also want that too. I was thinking about this. This is kind of unrelated, but also the same. Should we launch a show called Fancy Debates? And I was thinking of it because of what you're wearing. Yeah. Should we launch a show called Fancy Debates where the hosts have to like dress up?
Wear a gown.
Yeah, well, you know, it's too in this weather, but
sure.
Yeah. I'll wear like a nice suit.
Lots of dresses I've worn to a wedding one single time that would love another go around.
Oh my God, we should do this.
I'm down. Oh, we could also just have fancy episodes of the podcast occasionally.
That's true. I got to get a new suit. I don't fit my stuff anymore.
Okay, actually,
I'd be looking like Donald Trump.
Oh my God.
If I were to wear a suit right now with all the bagginess.
On the note of like youth being the standard for beauty, I will say I am way prettier now at 31 than I was at 21. Way prettier now.
But he was asking whether society will consider her pretty. And it might not have been 30. It might have been like 40 or 50 or what. I don't know what it was. But that he was trying to make a point, I think, about her value going down with time.
Right.
And
which
like,
is so
are you going to get a man
crazy.
after you focused on your career or whatever else kind of shit?
Right. Meanwhile, these men who are going to be fat and balding by the time they decide that they're ready to settle down, they think their value has gone up.
Let's take a break and I'll find the clip during the break. We'll come back and talk about it, then talk about the news, and then put a bow on this episode, which has very little news in it. But release the Epstein files.
Release the fucking files.
Release the fucking Epstein files.
Do you remember when I did that once? Do you remember when I did that once and someone was like, I'm not comfortable with Alyssa threatening? I was like...
Alyssa raised her fist like she was going to punch. It was what you did that to me once.
Like... Be so
actually, you did it
serious.
to me. You do it to me every now and then.
I do, yeah, because I think it's
just a joke.
Funny.
Yeah. And I've always said that.
Obviously, and I've always said that.
I started doing it after you.
Yeah. It's funny. Sorry, it's funny.
We'll be right back.
When Would you like to be one of the cool people who can prove they were supporting this podcast right from the beginning? Well, you can. Head over to linemerch.com. That's linemerch.com and pick up some founders merch for The Line as a podcast that will only be available for a short time and features the rough draft drawn logo that soon will be updated to look less like it was drawn by a 3-year-old. That's linemerch.com.
So it was pretty close to what I said. Basically, they asked, do you think you'll be prettier, better looking at 20 or 30? And she said, like, my understanding for the unit of measure for beauty is youth. And so I will be older at 20 than I am at 30 than I am at 20. And they're like, that's not the question. She's like, but it is though. And he's like, do you need me to break down the standards of beauty for you? We can do that right now. And she goes, okay. And he goes and he starts like pulling shit up and then reads a definition that ends that like, and you know, the softer skin and are a sign of youth. And as he says youth, he goes like, oh, fuck. Oh, I forgot. I lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was going to say. Then he starts calling her the R word.
Yep.
And Pearl jumps in. She's just being a brat. And she points out,
she's being a brat.
She's like, this is what kids do. When you lose your point, you start calling names.
Yeah.
Y'all got wrecked by a 20-year-old. And like, look, it's not important to me, this detail, but I know it's to them. How is it being humiliated for you guys by somebody with that much cleavage?
Right.
Because you know it bugs them where it's like you've presented yourself in a way that I am. If I can see your boobs, then there will be no brains. That's what you think you've set up.
Right.
And by the way, Pearl appears to be on that podcast a lot, appearing remotely. So what happened to their in-person only? Ooh, good enough for thee, but not for me.
Oh, God. That is something else. God, I hate them.
You got any news you want?
Well, the National Guard has been deployed in DC, even though they've had a 30%, isn't it like 30% less crime?
Yeah, crime's been going down, and it's basically, so we had a caller calling about this on Wednesday night about it, and then they tried to just end the call by screaming slurs because they lost really badly. Just started screaming the N-word. Literally, that's how they ended the call. So and talking about why it actually is, and he never actually gave a good reason, but I gave mine. I was like, he is preparing for protests. It is an excuse to get the National Guard in there because the Epstein files are going to drop. I would say that's what I most suspect. I can't speak to that as a fact, but it makes a lot more sense than any of the justifications they're using, that and many other things may cause people to protest, and he wants to already have the National Guard presence there. Also, they're already like disproportionately going at, it's one of those things where it's like, remember when they were like, we're only going to be getting rid of illegals and people who commit terrible crimes, but we're going to be doing it fast. And then no, they're literally like picking up American citizens.
Right.
They're picking up people who have no anything but a civil violation before, not like no violent crime, no criminal things. Most of the people aren't criminals that they are deporting. Well, now it's that same thing too. Like the crime is rampant. So we're going to go to black neighborhoods and just pick up people who are like smoking a joint. Right. Out in public. Because you could smoke a joint in DC, but not in public. And so we're going to go arrest those guys. Like, that's what they're already fucking doing. It's like, you guys said crime was rampant, like you were going to go stop murders because of this alleged story that Big Balls got beaten up when trying to intervene on it's already been pointed out, that story happened where there should be lots of cameras because DC is practically a CCTV area. There's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
And this story, I don't know why people, it's kind of like the thing we talked about at the beginning. Why are we starting with the presumption that we all accept that story is true, that the way you've put this is true?
Yeah.
I would first like proof the Big Balls thing happened at all.
Yeah.
That one of Elon Musk's guys was like, I'm going to go protect that lady. Hey, guys, you evildoers, stop it right now. Oh, the unjust beating I'm receiving right now. Right. I would love to actually see that is a real thing.
Right. Well, it's first. Even like we have, when I mean, this is like kind of a weird example, but when we've had really terrible things happen, like the George Floyd situation, like we had that on camera because it was like a shocking and horrible thing that happened, and people were filming it because they were like, this has to be documented. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So like even if DC wasn't like covered in security cameras, which it is, CCTV. You think something like that would happen, and in the age of cell phones in everybody's fucking hand, no one would have filmed anything?
Right.
Really?
Be so real right now.
Be so fucking serious.
Be so fucking serious.
Come on.
Cut it out, evildoers. Fucking libertarian hackers. Like, he's not pulling out his phone immediately.
Right.
He would have posted it to his Twitter if he did it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so much about this that smells like Big Balls farts.
Big balls
Bro.
farts.
Big Balls, you need to clean your balls. I can smell them. I can smell your fucking balls.
You know, he has like ball cheese happening.
Yeah.
In New York.
By the way, very soon, Canada will have more visitors from the U.S. than the U.S. has visitors from Canada for the first time in fucking ever.
Well, I know, like, I mean, this is anecdotal, but from I have relatives in Toronto, and they have plenty of friends who have vacation homes in the US, like in Florida or in Phoenix, like places that are warm. They all sold them. Like, so much so that I have other relatives who live in Florida, and their building, like half of it emptied out because so much of their it was like apartments. Half of their building emptied out because they were Canadian people who like
don't need a place anymore.
Yeah, and they will not come down here. So it's like all very tangible. All of this is very tangible consequence. It's just stupid. So yeah, I don't know. What other newsy things have been happening? Let's take a little look-see.
I remember, okay, so there was the attorney for the gunman who killed 10 black people at a Buffalo supermarket says the federal charges against him should be dropped because there weren't enough black people and other minority groups on the grand jury that indicted him. Basically, he's saying that our white guy who murdered black guys was indicted by a too white of a jury. And so we should let go the fact that he killed 10 black people because the grand jury who indicted him, not found him guilty, indicted him, was too white.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Also, good luck finding an impartial jury with people of color when you've killed 10 people
black
of color.
People. I mean, I'm open to that. Anybody can be impartial if the evidence is there, but like sitting there and being like, to me, it's more like, wouldn't you have just said the opposite if the opposite happened? They're alleging they killed 10 black people, but the grand jury had too many black people on it. If it was the opposite, you would have said that was why it should be dropped because it's going to be too biased. It sounds like Trump. I'm building a wall. And frankly, but imagine if Trump said that was why white people hated him. Well, because I'm building a wall and they don't like it because they're Mexican. Wait, they're white? Get back to you. I'll get back to you. Frankly. 10. We really got to drop it. It should have been more. There should have been more people of color indicting us on killing people of color. So we got to let it go. Very dumb.
Shifting.
You see
what?
Oh, go ahead.
Shifting gears for a second. Did you see that JD Vance is in the UK and there are people protesting him, and they also put up a billboard of his egghead?
And the place he's staying at also, like, for a normal person is $20,000 a week. I'm sure you have to shut down the whole place and it's costing the taxpayers $1 million a week. And then he was on, oh my God, did you see Katie Miller's podcast?
No.
He was the guest on Katie Miller's new podcast. You know who Katie Miller is? Stephen Miller's wife.
Oh, no, I don't think I've perceived her yet.
And they talked about, it is the most boring podcast ever. And they talked about such exciting topics as how her husband, Stephen Miller, new Hitler, only eats mayonnaise as a condiment. He accepts no other condiment but mayonnaise. It's what he dips his fries in. It's what he dips everything in.
You actually didn't need to tell me that.
You look like mayonnaise.
Yeah, you didn't need to tell me that. I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that in my bones.
I think he goes like, they're like, oh, let's go ahead and draw your blood and check your cholesterol. And they put it in and they're like, sir, we think you have mayonnaise for blood.
Yeah.
We think your blood might be mayonnaise.
Yeah.
That dude, oh my fucking God. He's disgusting. Younger than me, I think. Did you know that?
Is?
Let me go. Have you seen a recent picture of him?
Hold on. I need to look.
Was it Raiders where the thing happened and the dude like ages and his face melts away and then he's just a skeleton?
I don't know.
Okay, no, he's not. He's not. He's a little older. He's 39.
Right. Oh yeah, I literally just saw a picture of him. Wow, that's crazy.
But that means he started with Trump
horrible
in 2016. 2016 is fucking 9 years ago. So he started at 30 years old in what basically has become, unfortunately, despite the fact that he like does not, I hate admitting this, but he's like the third or fourth most powerful person in the world because he's the one writing and compelling Trump on all of these horrible policies. He's writing the ICE shit. He's writing the executive orders. He is the dude there. Granted, he's more like the most power bottom person in the world. Like he's Trump's bottom, but he's getting a lot of the power. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the most power bottoms in the world. Fourth most power bottoms.
Oh,
it's
Jesus.
so fucking bleak. Did you see that porn use, like porn site traffic in the UK has plummeted because they implemented the age verification law?
No, I knew that they did the age verification law, but I didn't know that it would plummet like that.
Yeah.
It would plummet like that.
It went way down, which doesn't mean everybody was underage. That's how some people are going to read it. It means that, in fact, it'll mean most people don't want to verify their age to be on porn sites.
Yeah.
Can confirm I live in Texas. I am not doing that shit. Because we have that same law here. You have to Pornhub if you're in Texas, pops up a little thing. You can't do it. Not in Texas.
Yeah. I think it mostly would make me feel weird that they would have my information like that.
Yeah. 47% drop.
But, wow.
Well, supposedly they only use it to verify and then they purge it. But do we know that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do we trust that?
I don't know about that.
Are we sitting there going like, yeah, Pornhub, who finally after years got their child porn and rape porn taken off the internet only when it became an actual threat and otherwise rejected doing it for a long time. Like, there were a lot of people who were like, hey, I did not consent to that. And I'm 16 in that video. And they're like, well, we don't know that.
Right.
They did a lot of that shit. They did a lot of, there was straight up rape porn on there.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
There was that documentary. I can't remember what it was called. Do you remember that was about Pornhub?
I don't know.
It was really good. And it was, what was it called? It was really good. And one of the women who was interviewed, her name's Noelle, was like, she worked at Pornhub for a long time. And she was like, their servers are the equivalent of like boxes of servers that are duct tape. She's like, they're so like all of it is clunky and old and wow. It's bad.
I remember those days. Site used to run real slow.
Yeah. Right.
We were out there then.
Money Shot. It's called Money Shot. But yeah, They talk a lot about like the revenge porn and the sex trafficking and like the things that were happening on the platform that they've now tried to create some sort of control over.
I think they've succeeded because they basically got rid of everything that doesn't have individual user verification. So like people who are uploading have to be verified uploaders or from a studio. So they've gotten rid of a lot of it. Doesn't mean they haven't gotten rid of like the controversial categories. For example, barely legal, teen, that kind of stuff.
Parent, step sibling, that kind of stuff.
That one at least could be consensual. We've had this talk before. That one at least doesn't technically undermine consent except for certain ones. Step siblings wouldn't. Step parents arguably does. Anyway, I don't know. Let's just fucking outro this. And then when we get back, when we go to the bonus show, that's where we're headed. In the bonus show, we'll read our 5 most recent porn videos. We'll talk about what's in our individual porn algorithms. No, we're not really going to do that, but I don't know. You want to do another some spicy cards?
Sure. We've gone through so many of them.
Yeah, let's do them again.
Hopefully
we might have different answers this time.
Yeah. Hopefully we get some new answers.
That bonus show is available to patrons at patreon.com/calltheline, where you get extended episodes. And this week we are doing the first ever LineCon online live. That is going to be a hoot and a half.
Exciting.
Bye. Sorry.